Okay everybody, welcome back. So here we are, we're about to get going creating our Duck Hunter AR game experience. So the first thing I want you to do is click on Unity and then click on the new button up in the top corner and you will be faced with this panel. I'm just going to rename mine to be Duck Hunt AR. There we go. Make sure it's saved in a location where you know where it is. Ideally some software on the cloud like Dropbox or Sync like I'm using, which is great for backups. And then create the project. Now, lots of the students have upgraded to the newest version of Unity, which is 2017.2. So that's what I've done to make everything run a little bit smoother in this tutorial series. Now, if I click on the inspector, we're faced with the default layout for Unity. Now, don't worry if you're still using Unity 2017.1 or Unity 5, I'll still let you know the slight differences. There's only a couple, to be honest, to do with how we actually import Vuforia and add an image target. But I'll explain as we go along so that nobody gets lost. Okay, so the first thing what we want to do is click on the camera because we don't need this one. And I want you to either right click and delete, or on a Mac, Command and Backspace, on Windows, delete. Because we're not going to be using that one. What we're going to be using is Vuforia's camera. So if I jump across to Vuforia's website, I'll just click Dev Portal and then log in. Here we are, this is one of my accounts. And I'm going to need two things. One is the target manager, so I'll open that up in a new tab. And the second one is the AR app license key. So let's copy that. And I'll also go into my database in the target manager. And I'll just take the two that I want. Well, in fact, I'll just get the Stones one for now. And download that database for Unity and download. There we go. Okay, now if you're using the old version of Unity, you need to click on Downloads and you'll need to click on this link here, which is for the previous versions of Unity, the legacy version. The new people will be on this link here, but that just basically takes us through to the Unity Asset Store. So I'm going to do that directly through the editor, so you don't need to do anything at the moment. The previous people, click on this one and download the software. And then we're ready to go. So here we go, back again into Unity. If you're on the previous version, right click, import the custom package, navigate through to the file that you've just downloaded from the Vuforia website, and then you will be able to see the Vuforia folder on the left hand side and all the subfolders in the project panel. For the new guys, come up to the top, click on Game Object, down to Vuforia and click AR Camera. It says that I need to import Vuforia, so why not? This is just a shortcut method of doing it rather than going into the asset store, navigating into Vuforia, like so, and then downloading the package in the same way. All it's done is automatically include the assets that I require. So the alternate method of doing that is by using the asset store. If you can't see that, then that's Window Asset Store. And you just type in Vuforia, and then the package that we're going to be importing from the asset store is this one. So either method works. You can either go straight there and import, or you can go to the asset store and import that way. Now, we copied my serial number for the AR camera, so while I click it, I can come across to this side here. If I just go to my game, click it, and there's one new thing that you have to do to enable Vuforia. As the message down here says, before we can open up the Vuforia configuration, it's only on the newest version. The guys on the previous versions will simply be able to go into the Vuforia folder, into prefabs, and then drag out the AR camera and then open up the configuration. But us new guys have to go File and open up the build settings. Make sure that we're on Android and switch platform. Just takes about 20 seconds-ish, maybe less, seeing as it's empty at the minute. There we go. And then click on Player Settings, down to the bottom, XR Settings, and enable Vuforia. There we go. So that's a new feature for the new version of Unity. The previous guys don't have to do that. You just have to go Vuforia, open up the folder, go into prefabs, which doesn't exist now, and then click on the blue square that says AR camera and drag that out here. It's exactly the same, it's just now you go like that rather than like that. So now Vuforia is enabled on the newest version. I can now open up the Vuforia configuration, and here is where I paste my app license key. So click inside, paste in the license key, leave everything else the same for now, and that's okay. Now the next thing that we're going to need is an actual image target, so that when the camera scans the world, it wants to place whatever objects we want onto the image target so that we can generate the AR experience. So on the new version, you click down to Vuforia and click image. And there we go, we have an image target. On the older versions, you can either click here in the search and start typing the word image, and then the blue square for the prefab for the image target will appear. You just drag that out, or come down to Vuforia, prefabs, and then drag out an image target. Okay, so if I double click on the image target, now we can see on the new edition, it's already created us an image target with a sample image, which is bundled with the data sets that come with the package. The older guys will just simply be seeing a white square. Not a problem though, because we both now, from this point, have to do exactly the same thing. What I want you to do is come across to the left where it says Assets, right click inside here, Import Package Custom, and then I want you to go to the downloads and import the newest AR game, or whatever you guys called your database, from the Vuforia website that we've just downloaded that contains the stones image. So just double click that. Here comes the Unity Import Manager. I'll import, and there we go, job's done. So now click on the image target and switch to the AR game. Go down to the image target drop down. Mine contains a few more because I've been doing other projects, and click stones. So now if I zoom out slightly, we can see my image of the stones that was uploaded in the previous videos. One last thing, click on the image AR camera, come across to the configuration and make sure that the new dataset that we've just imported is selected and enabled. And just to make it a little lighter on the memory, I'm going to disable all the other datasets, come over to the assets, right click and create a folder, because what we're going to do now is save our scene. So if I make a folder called scene, file, save scenes, I'm going to call this one main and save the scene. This will appear here, and I just drag that inside that folder just to keep things nice and neat. Up to file and the build settings, and I always like to add the scene now, like so, just in case I forget later on, and it makes life a little bit easier. Okay, so that's it. There are the differences between Unity 5 and 2017.1 compared to 2017.2. It's just the way that we import Vuforia, and then now on the new version, we use this menu at the top. On the old version, you guys will have a prefabs folder, and the AR camera and the image target are stored inside the Vuforia and prefabs folder. So you just drag those guys out. But apart from that, everything else is pretty much the same. On the new version, the configuration is at the bottom, and on the old version, the configuration is up at the top. The only slight difference again is on the image target now. Underneath where it says predefined, and we choose the database and the image target, on the old version you also have two tick boxes, and one of those is for extended tracking, which is what we're going to be using. On the new version, it's just nested inside this little menu, and I'll click extended tracking there. Now what extended tracking does is Once we've created our 3D model, our camera can pan away and the image target no longer needs to remain in view. That means that we can move the camera around to follow the bird and everything will remain in the scene. Okay, so that's it. That's that setup. Let's save the scene again. And let's have a look what's next on the list. So we're going to import particle systems. Now, particle systems are what we're going to use for the special effects, for when you shoot the bird, it explodes, and when you fire the gun, we get a muzzle flash. So they're located in the same place on all versions, assets, import package, and down to particle systems. These come pre-built with Unity, and we just need to click import, and that will create a particle systems folder on the left. It's actually inside a folder called standard assets. But while that's imported, let's have a look what's next. AxeWorks. Okay, so this is what we're going to use to create the world, the environment that the duck will be flying above. And this is where the fun happens now, guys. What we're going to do when the particle systems has finished importing is click on the asset store. And what I want you to do is just search for AxeWorks. And this is what we're going to use. Oh, 1 second, click on free. There we go. This is the one that we want. We want the low poly free pack. So this is a free pack of low polygon, fast loading, low memory consumption models. And it's what we're going to use to actually create the environment that we're going to be playing the duck hunting game in. So if you scroll down, just click, if you don't already have it, it will probably say download. I've already downloaded it once, so now it just simply says import. Either way, click on that and import all the assets. And we're going to get a new folder now, which says AxeWorks, and inside that, all the models will be there. Okay, so that's done, and here's my AxeWorks folder. So if I go inside, here we go, look, we can see all these different models that have been provided by AxeWorks for us, and we're going to have some fun. We're going to be using these and building our world with them. They've got everything from grass to hills and mountains. One of my favorites is the volcano, the new mountain. It also has some flowers and things like that. So one of the things that we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting one of the volcanoes on the scene, and then we're going to add a particle system to make it look like it's erupting, which is kind of a cool effect. So that's that all ready for us to be to access later on. So now let's go back across to the plan, wherever I've put the plan. There we go. And now we're going to import the models that are attached to this video. So we're going to get hold of the gun and the duck models. So minimize this, and I'll navigate across to my folder. Okay, so it's down here. Here we go. So I'll just make a copy of these and pop them on my desktop. And all these are, guys, are the assets which I attach to the video. So I'm just going to extract each one. There's the gun. Here are the sounds. Here are all the sprites, which are all the graphics that we're going to be using. And here is the model of the bird. So now I'll get rid of these guys. There we go. And I'm going to drag and drop those into Unity. So if I open up Unity and just move it across to the side slightly, I can grab all of these and import them straight into the project. Okay, so that is done. Right, a couple of things that we need to do just for a little bit of TLC. I'm going to right click and create a folder for my models. There we go. I'm going to put the gun inside the models. And where's the bird? There he is, inside the models also. And then we've got a folder for sounds, for sprites. And now the models are inside there. Now, one of the things that we need to do is go inside the sounds folder. Now, this is a gunshot sound, that I downloaded. I left the link in to where it's from, just for copyright purposes. You can preview any sound effect by clicking on it once and clicking play here. There we go. Now, because this is going to be for mobile, one of the good things to do is to click on Force to Mono and apply. And there we go. Now, inside this folder, you can play away to your heart's content. There we go. So what I want to do with these is highlight them all and also force them to be mono and apply. Okay, so that's the sound effects taken care of. The next thing I want you to do is to come into sprites. Now, if you don't know what a sprite is, it's basically an image. Now, when you import graphics into Unity, the first thing it thinks they are textures, as if we're going to be using these for the sides of a 3D model, for example. Now, what you have to do to make it use the graphic as an actual image rather than a texture is click on it once, have a look at the size, and then change the type up at the top to be a sprite 2D. Now, the reason I said look at the size is because we want to compress the graphic down so that it only allows it to be a maximum of the size for the graphic. Now, at the moment, it's 85 kilobytes, but now if I force it down to be a maximum size of 256 and apply, there we go, 64. So this is saving memory while we're running the game. Switch it to a 2D sprite so that it knows that it's not a texture, it's actually an image. This is 512, so shrink it down, and from 341, the graphic will come down to 256. There we go, so we're saving more memory now. So I can also select multiple, like so, and change them all to be a sprite and apply. Although, I'll need to go into them individually to see what sizes they are. 76178, so this is nice and small, so let's make it a maximum of 128. There we go. And the dog, which of course you can open up in Photoshop and draw a better one. This is just something I knocked together for the demo to let you guys have a bit of a play. Here is the image target that we're going to use to let the user know where to position their target in the camera. And then the last one is what we're going to use for the grass. Now I'm going to, in fact, I should have left that as a normal default texture because that is what it's going to be. We're going to use this as a texture for something called a terrain, which is the ground that we're going to be using. Okay, so far so good. We have the models imported inside here. We have the gun and the bird. We have the sound effects all converted to mono. We have the sprites and all the relevant ones have been compressed down and changed to be a 2D sprite so that we can use that for the controls on the screen. And we now have AxeWorks, Vuforia and everything set up. Brilliant. I'll see you in the next video.